get ready for a Sagittarius full blue moon happening during a Gemini year on May 31st, 2026. This is the second full moon in the month of May for 2026, and that's called a blue moon. So when a blue moon happens, you've heard the phrase once in a blue moon. This is that time. And it doesn't happen all that often. So when it does, it's a good time to sort of make your wishes, your desires come true, put them into visualizations, use pictures and that kind of thing to bring it into manifestation. Now, these videos I've been making are about lunar mansions and how they work and how they've been used for a very long time, down through all the millennia of humankind, to bring certain things into occurrence. And the lunar mansions are really the core of the visualization, the secrets of the visualization, where you make something happen by visualizing it. It's not just sort of so willy-nilly as they'd like you to think. It's done in a very precise manner, and it's done using the lunar mansions. And the lunar mansions are written into a lot of the most of the world's religions, and also into all the artwork, the plays, the movies, the commercials, both back when they were painting on caves and writing old scriptures, even to now when they're putting in commercials, movies, and videos. And even commercials, even on social media, they're used. Why? They're used in advertising. It's all the secret of advertising, really. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Okay, so there's 28 lunar mansions, and each of these videos that we make on the full moon, each of the full moons each month, are about those lunar mansions and the kind of visualizations you can use during that lunar mansion, which they go through. Just take about 24 hours for the mansion to be over, because you go through all of the zodiac in a month, and there's more than one mansion in each sign. Okay, so they're used in such a way as to be a theme, and then there's certain pictures that are archetypal images that you've seen, and they're used in the tarot cards. All of that, again, they're used in movies, famous paintings, all that stuff. They're used, and they're used for to get a specific result, because when you use the lunar mansions, whether you're telling it in story form, or whether you're describing it, or whether you're showing it in pictures, it is bringing those things into fruition. And you can highlight the ones you want to highlight. But the main thing is to understand so that you can use each of these lunar mansions for what's best for you. So in a blue moon, it's going to be extra strong. Extra strong. So we're going to tell you what mansion this is. And we're going to tell you what the images are, First, we're going to tell you what the angels are. And you can utilize the angels to your benefit, and the lords. And then we're going to tell you about how Gemini year, this is a Gemini year 2026, what happens in a Sagittarius moon, the compatibility of that. And then we're going to also then get into the specific lunar mansion, which is part of this Sagittarius moon, and the images that are traditionally used in archetypal form, and how you can use it to bring to whatever you're trying to manifest. Now, the bigger the audience, the bigger the magic, because these are usually targeted at audiences. You can also use them for yourself in order to gaze upon the picture yourself and that kind of thing. So you focus on the ones you deem appropriate, and but even if there's some of these things that seem like they're on the negative side, the point is you need to know what other people are doing so that you can do what you need to make sure that you and those that you care about have the outcome that you would like them to have, so that they're fully taken care of. Because I know a lot of you want to take care of the people you love. So that's why I like to give these mansions to you and get you to, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You see it everywhere. Once you see it in every movie you see, every TV show, every commercial, you start seeing it everywhere, because they are there, and they are done. And it's not a coincidence, because if you look at the movies, it goes one right after the road. They take like a section of like 5 to 7 lunar mansions, and you wonder why the movies have some of these crazy scenes. It's because they're trying to fit the lunar mansion into it. It goes right down the row. They're very, it's actually quite scientific. And so, if you want to think that takes the fun out of the magic, it is a lot of work, but it works. Or the churches and the movie theaters wouldn't be using it if it didn't work. It works. The TV shows wouldn't be using it if it didn't work, and it's for a specific purpose. All right, so now that I've gotten on that soapbox, I'll get off, and I'll just tell you, but this is a blue moon, so it's more strong, and that's what I'm trying to say. All right, so this Sagittarius full blue moon in a Gemini year on the 31st is happening at 8:45 in the morning a.m. We're using tropical astrology and universal time coordinated, and this is happening in lunar mansion number 20, which is a dewy or very moist mansion of the moon. Now, the Archangel Michael is the angelic being that is the title, has the sort of the authoritarian ability to guide you and be your guardian angel over all the fire signs, of which Sagittarius is a fire sign, and Sagittarius is the mutable of all the fire signs. So Adnachiel, the angel Adnachiel, is a zodiac angel for the sign of Sagittarius the Archer. Now, the zodiac angel that rules over the air sign of Gemini, the twins, is named Umbriel. This is a Gemini year. And the elemental guardian archangel of all the air signs is Raphael. So Gemini is mutable air. Okay? So, lunar angel Kyriel rules over the 20th mansion of the moon, which is in effect for this Sagittarius moon under the influence of this mansion stargates of Ascella and Nunki. So the stargates for lunar mansion number 20 are Ascella and Nunki. Those are the names of the stars. All right. Now, the fire sign of Sagittarius, well, the combination of the Jupiterian Sagittarius and Mercurial Gemini forms an amalgamation of mutable fire from Sagittarius's water of fire, that's mutable fire, water of fire nature, during a mutable air vibes from Gemini's water of air characteristic, producing a wild and entertaining combo of autonomy with a great dollop of fascinating conversations, which are the great enthusiasm of both of these mutable signs. Okay, they're both mutable. Now think about it though. Jupiter is watery in nature, and the god El is a god that's connected to Jupiter, and that's a watery god, okay? And Jupiter rules over Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, but this is water. Sagittarius is water of fire, or mutable fire, water, mutable fire. And so you have Jupiter, water, Sagittarius, fire. It all is in alignment. It's not willy-nilly. It's all actually, magic is quite scientific. Astrology is quite scientific. If you get to the devil's in the details, it does work. It's very complicated. And those of you that are mathematicians out there, you make the best astrologers, because astrology is all about mathematics. And that's why computers have made so many of us, has been such a blessing to those of us that aren't so great at math. I'm okay at it, but it's not, I like mythology, and I like archetypal, I like tarot cards, that kind of thing. But it's really, there's something in it for everyone, really. All right, now, regarding how these two, how Sagittarius and Gemini fit together. And remember that Sagittarius is Jupiter, the ruling planet, and Gemini Mercury is the ruling planet. So both of these like independence, and both of these signs love to just chit-chat and talk story and go from subject to subject, although Gemini likes to go from subject to subject more, very imaginative, and Sagittarius likes that because Sagittarius likes an expansive, because Jupiter is expansive, an expansive mind, where Mercurial is kind of goes from what is fast, goes from one to the other. So it's very exciting, and the air feeds the fire. The Gemini air feeds the fire of Sagittarius. So that's very helpful for both of them. Also, the Archer and the twins, Archer being Sagittarius and the twins being Gemini, both love to go on vacations. They like to travel. They like to go on great destinations. They like to go on to very exotic destinations, and they love to go on vacations. And these two zodiac signs are sharp and clever intellects with razor sharp wit. They both have a good sense of humor, and they kind of brighten your day. They both can both make you very cheerful. Especially Gemini can really cheer you up. Okay, now the operative word for the shenanigans together that they have, is that they are zealous for high adventure. Okay, this couple of signs enjoy exploration, which breeds much excitement, generating wonderful stories to tell at parties or family gatherings. Now, lunar mansions, the lunar mansion for this is number 20. It's called Al-Na'am. That's the word. It's called, the traditional word name is Al-Na'am. And that's the mansion that yields practitioners of the occult tremendous control. This mansion, number 20, it's a Sagittarius mansion. It gives those who are practitioners of the occult, magicians, it grants tremendous control of specified situations, selected individuals, or the taming of wild beasts. Okay? Indeed, this is a mansion of the moon in which a hunter or huntress is sure to prevail. No matter what you're hunting, you're sure to prevail. Now, the stars Ascella and Nunki are the stargates we access for star magic opportunities when Luna activates this lunar mansion. A transit adventurous like this, it's really good for taming animals, and it's beneficial for especially the taming of feral animals and the strengthening of the cages in which you keep them. Okay? Also, a profitable mansion in which to annihilate the riches of cronies and acquaintances. Beware of that. Also forces a person to arrive at a prearranged location. Go figure. Use a depiction of a half man, half horse, also named a Sagittarius or a centaur, to guarantee the success of a hunting party. So you see the archer, pulling back the bow. That is the Sagittarius, and that's going to guarantee the success of the hunting party. It's all about the hunt. So, from the crossbar of the bow and arrow of the Sagittarius, in the constellation of Sagittarius the Archer with lunar angel Kyriel and Lord Quehuk. So some of you want to talk to the angel, and that's Kyriel of this mansion, Al-Na'am, and some of you want to talk to the Lord, and that's Lord Quehuk. And the angel or the Lord can help you manifest, along with the pictures and the visualizations. We'll show you the ancient used to make symbols out of silver and various metals specific to each mansion, which I not only talk about the mansions, but I also have some portions in grimoire I've already written, and I already have it up on YouTube, but I'm putting it into a blog at the moment. What I'm not giving you in all of these right now, which I did in the past, are how you make like a rosary out of this, the right metal, the right gemstone, or an amulet or a ring or necklace, a magical ring or for each of the lunar mansions. And I do have those. They're on this channel. Just look up the mansion and it'll be right there. I made they're very long to make those videos, and so it ran out of gas a little bit, but I have it all up. So you can check that out. But also we're going to be doing more of that in the future. And also, this is where you got the figure of speech, the silver screen of Hollywood. Because in Hollywood, they use these images. And they use the mansions to make their movies. They always have. And the silver screen, why? Because silver was one of the main substances they used to make the images in ancient times, and like have it embossed on something and put it in various places. Some were buried in water, some were put on around people's necks. It's why they put religious people to put that around your neck. It's from these mansions. Even the Christian ones, it's all from the mansions. All of them, it's all from these mansions. So the silver screen, they were stamping it into light, but a silver light, which is why black and white is always really cared for, and it's always going to come back, because silver is a very powerful metal for film and for creating images, and it's a very powerful magical, silver is a very powerful magical alchemical metal of the moon. That's why these are lunar mansions. Now sometimes they use copper and yada yada yada. Nevertheless, silver is a very powerful one for these mansions. That's why it's the silver screen. So it's all connected. All right, now moving right along. Okay, now the stars, Ascella and Nunki that we mentioned, the Stargates that we access for the star magic opportunities when Luna activates this lunar mansion and transit advantageous. Again, it's going to be for hunting and domestication of animals. And Luna will be in Sagittarius, 4 degrees, 17 minutes and 9 seconds to Sagittarius, 17 degrees, 8 minutes and 34 seconds. This again, this lunar mansion is from the 4th degree of Sagittarius to the 17th degree of Sagittarius, according to Abraham. The stars to wish upon inside the 20th mansion of the moon, Al-Na'am, are named Ascella and Nunki, that are the beam of the crossbow wielded by the hunting centaur. Now, I got to say this. I've been wondering this for a long time, but I was watching the movie Ben-Hur, and Marcellus and Judah Ben-Hur were just meeting again since they were boys, and they had met when they were men again, and they were celebrating, and Marcellus came back to to Judea, and they were throwing arrows at a crossbeam in the place where they were. They were saying, Mars up, down with Venus, Mars up. In other words, they were men of war. You know, they weren't men of Venus, they were men of Mars. And they threw an arrow, and it hit the crossbeam. And that's this mansion. So that scene in that movie is this mansion right here. Okay, because this is what it is. Because this is this mansion. So the name of it is the beam, or the crossbow. But it's also the beam that it's probably most likely, and I kept thinking about this afterwards, it's probably the crossbeam on the cross. I would venture to say, and it's just a hunch, that the cross, the Christian cross, is this mansion. Okay, there's other mansions that are Jesus being on the cross. That's a different mansion. But this mansion, I believe, is the cross itself. Because that's the cross beam. Because they threw it right at the center. And the center of the cross, where this meets that's the center of the cross. That's got spiritual significance, and I know it's this mansion. I'm sure of it. And it has to do with carpentry, right? And Jesus was a carpenter. Go figure, it's all connected. Okay, so just think about that next time you see the movie Ben-Hur. Okay, now, that's the old one with, what was his name? I can't remember. It'll come back to me later. Okay, so ask the angel of Zeta Sagittarii and Sigma Sagittarii, whose name Kyriel, to make you capture all that you hunt and to make them come to you at once. Okay, now, sorceresses and sorcerers use the image of an armed half man, half horse, or a man riding a horse to subdue feral creatures, fortify internment centers, devastate the riches of specific communities, and force a specific man of their choosing to arrive at a precise location. Also, where Warnock describes this mansion's name as Al-Na'am, Agrippa reveals Abnahaya as its moniker. Abnahaya. I wonder if in Bewitched, when she said Abna, if the neighbor, if that was invoking this mansion, because sometimes they use old ladies saying weird things in movies to invoke some of the odd names of these mansions. Probably. Okay, so Agrippa reveals Abnahaya as its moniker. Agrippa also discloses that for the purpose of obtaining success in the stalking and killing of untamed beasts, magicians formed an emblem of a creature having the head and upper body of a man and the lower body and legs of a horse, carrying a bow and arrow made from the alchemical metal of tin, because tin is the alchemical metal of Jupiter. Go figure. And remember, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Now, magicians would then add the aroma to the icon using a wolf's head. Also, In ancient days, a wolf's life force was known to overpower that of a horse. Remember, this is this is Sagittarius is half man, half horse, and to also overwhelm other animals. The wolf's head would cause a horse or other creature to become weary and fatigued. The reason this is important during a Gemini year is because Gemini in Western astrology is the same as horse in Chinese astrology. It's all connected. So according to Kabbalistic lore, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Okay, and Sagittarius birthstone is turquoise. So if you're going to make a rosary, you use a tin for the chain and you use a turquoise for the beads, or if you're going to make an amulet or a necklace or a ring, for the metal you use the tin, and for turquoise for the birthstone for Sagittarius. Now, there's in the ones that I did on my other videos that are, you just look at Al-Na'am and it'll, Ascella Nunki, and it'll bring you, and I have this on there. I go into the specific stars in this mansion that are not all of Sagittarius. It goes into this, well, they are all of Sagittarius, but they're stars that are not all, I said it wrong, not all of Jupiter. Some of the stars in Sagittarius have, it's not so, what I'm saying is more specific. Generally, Sagittarius is Jupiter, and generally it's tin and all of that, okay? Nevertheless, some of the stars in Sagittarius and in the pointer stars, Ascella and Nunki, the pointer stars aren't always exactly lining up in the exact constellation, but what I'm saying is the stars that might be for this mansion that you might want to use to make an amulet or a rosary or something sometimes have Martial or Saturnine or you know, Venusian or, you know, Mercurial or other, or you know, other or Martial planetary influences that they use for this specific mansion. I looked all that up under Vivian Irwood Robson's book about the stars. It's very specific and it's extremely informative, and you can check those videos out because it tells you how to very specific to this mansion, to each mansion. I did all 28 of them, and they're on this channel. So you just put in, you know, whatever mansion you want and whatever, you know, and then you can find out how you can make these, how you can go ahead and make these talismans, whether it be a rosary or a ring or an amulet or whatever you want to make, or a necklace, whatever. Okay, so we're getting to now the star magic opportunities. Star magic opportunities from Star Angel Kyriel, which provide powerful forces to you to acquire your objectives. When this Sagittarius moon's Al-Na'am, stargates of Ascella and Nunki are activated by Luna, according to Ashmole, are the following. Expeditions and voyages are permissible, nevertheless, neither especially fortunate nor perilous. Auspicious for purchasing animals, and precipitation of rainwater shall be beneficial, occurring without damage to property. Thanks for joining us. Join us again soon. We'll see you then.